Hey guys, and welcome back to the Political Whiz, where you will find all the whiz on politics and history. And today we will be taking a look into the three potential running mates for the Democratic nominee, Joe Biden. But before I begin, I should note here that I previously uploaded a video called The List of 10 Potential Running Mates for Joe Biden. So this is a follow-up video in light of the recent changes that have taken place in the vice presidential selection process. The previous video discusses all of the candidates' profiles, so for the purposes of this video, we will not be going over the candidates' profiles with the exception of Susan Rice, who we did not cover in our last video since she was not being strongly considered at the time. So before you watch this video, please watch my previous video, which you will find the link in the description below, because if you don't watch the previous video, then you will not be able to understand this video. And now we will be taking a look into Susan Rice. Susan Rice previously served as the Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs under the Clinton administration from 1997 to 2001. She then served as the UN ambassador under President Obama from 2009 to 2013, and after Hillary Clinton had left her post of Secretary of State, she was a strong contender for the position. Although she did not get the position, she did, however, serve as the National Security Advisor under President Obama from 2013 to 2017. Now that we're done taking a look into Susan Rice's profile, we will be taking a look at a poll conducted by The Political Whiz. Before I start this off, I am thrilled to say that this is the first poll that I ever conducted, and I thank all those people who took part in this poll and who shared it with their friends and families for a greater sample size. So as for this poll, it had a sample size of 706 people. As you can see in this poll, about 45% of respondents believe that Kamala Harris should be Biden's running mate, followed by 34% who say Val Demings should be the running mate for Joe Biden. 21% said that Susan Rice should be considered as Biden's running mate, and 22% of people wrote someone else's name for the vice presidential selection process. The most popular fourth option responses included Andrew Yang, Nina Turner, Rashida Tlaib, Elizabeth Warren, Tulsi Gabbard, and Marianne Williamson. Now, this poll shows many respondents either believe that it should be Kamala Harris or Val Demings who should be Joe Biden's running mate. Susan Rice in this poll isn't such a popular choice since she is nearly tied with other options, which shows that she wasn't such a popular choice among the respondents. We are now going to take a look into the pros and cons of each contender, starting with Kamala Harris. She has the most name recognition, which gives an advantage to Biden since many people already have an opinion about her, and if mentioned by the media, the people will not have any confusion in recognizing her. She would benefit in increasing voter turnout in critical western states such as Nevada and Arizona. As for the disadvantages she might carry, one of them would be that she might be attacked for her record as a district attorney, as she has been alleged for not properly prosecuting police officers with bad records. In addition, she has not had any success in this year's 2020 Democratic primaries and dropped out before the primaries were held, which isn't such a good thing considering that you weren't that popular with Democrats to begin with. Moving on to Congresswoman Val Demings. The biggest advantage that Demings has is that she is from the competitive state, which is Florida. Florida is a really important state to win, which would boost Biden's chances of winning the presidential election. In addition, Demings has the potential to increase African American voter turnout in competitive southern states such as North Carolina and Georgia. She was also the former police chief of Orlando prior to her congressional career. The reason why I say this is an advantage is because if you consider with everything going on in the country and the recent Black Lives Matter protests taking place, many people from the minority community and African Americans would vote for Joe Biden with Demings as a running mate since she is an African American woman. However, the demographic that won't vote for Biden are conservatives and those who support law enforcement and those who themselves are police officers. Those people are likely to vote for Trump. However, if you have a running mate that will not only appeal to African Americans since she is an African American herself, but also a running mate who has a history of service in law enforcement. This would be great since this would appeal to conservatives and those who support law enforcement, and although many of them will vote for Trump, but the percentage of that demographic voting for Trump significantly decreases since Biden would have a running mate as someone who has had a history of service with law enforcement. So appealing to both sides of the current crisis would be a smart move since that would in a way unite the country to voting for a single candidate and would be the key to an agreement reached between two parties. Another advantage is that she was one of the 7 prosecutors arguing against Donald Trump during the impeachment hearings in the Senate, and this is great since it shows she is someone who is trusted and would be seen by the Democratic Party as one of the people who fought hard against Trump instead of just attacking him either in the media or via social media. Although she has advantages, there are some disadvantages that she carries. The biggest one is that she does not have name recognition, and this is a big problem because if you have a running mate who is unknown compared to someone who is known, then it would come down to undecided voters who would have to choose who to vote for. Undecided voters are the ones who end up deciding the race. And often, undecided voters would vote for someone who they know over someone who they don't, regardless of their political opinion, so lack of name recognition is a big obstacle for Joe Biden's victory. Last but not least, we will be taking a look into the pros and cons of Susan Rice. Susan Rice clearly has foreign experience based off her candidate profile as well as political experience, specifically a history of working closely with the Obama administration. This benefits Biden because it helps him gain credibility with his base of supporters that he has chosen someone who has great experience in politics, especially someone who has worked closely with President Obama, who is greatly admired by a majority of Democrats. However, the disadvantages she carries is that she isn't from a competitive state, which wouldn't increase Biden's chances of winning a competitive state. Also, she wasn't chosen to succeed Hillary Clinton as the Secretary of State because of accusations made by Republicans of her handling of the 2012 Benghazi terrorist attack that killed 4 CIA agents. Although there wasn't any evidence against her, Biden would be vulnerable to this kind of attack since in the last presidential election, the Republicans brought up the email leaks and the Benghazi controversy against then Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton, which resulted in her defeat in the elections, so that would hurt Biden's chances of winning the election. In addition, she isn't popular or well-known in any region of the United States, again hurting Biden's chances of winning regions such as the Midwest, the Deep South, or the Southwest, which are critical to Biden's victory. Finally, we will wrap things up with my analysis. Based off my last video, there were many different paths of victory that Biden would have chosen to winning the presidential election, and he has chosen the path of increased African American voter turnout. All 3 candidates have strong records and would benefit Biden's shot at winning the presidency. Susan Rice has the foreign policy experience but isn't from a competitive state. Val Demings is great for winning not only with African Americans, but among the demographic that supports law enforcement with her experience as a former police chief, but a lack of name recognition would hurt Biden's chances of winning the presidency. Kamala Harris is the least controversial person, but is not from a competitive state, which would not boost Biden's chances of winning a competitive state. Irrespective of whoever is picked, Biden's announcement of his running mate would be a historical one since it would be the first African American female picked as a running mate from a major political party. I honestly believe that Kamala Harris has a strong chance of being chosen as Biden's running mate for her name recognition and her status as a rising star in the Democratic Party. And now, I ask you, which one of these 3 should be Biden's running mate? Make sure to comment down below. In the meantime, that's all for now. Like, subscribe, and share this video. Turn on the bell icon to be notified whenever I post. Please comment or suggest down below as this will help me improve my future videos. Follow me on Twitter at political_wiz. Thanks for watching.